If you want to make more money, learn a little something about physics. Everything, including money, is energy. Understanding how a certain subset of physics called quantum physics operates in your life can increase your capacity to attract and sustain wealth. If you remember anything about physics from high school, it's probably good old Newtonian physics. What goes up must come down. Gravity. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and so on. It's the physics of the tangible world. Everything's observable, and everything plays nicely by the rules. Quantum physics is a whole other game with a whole different set of rules. Stuff happens in all these different dimensions. You're dealing with particles, waves too tiny to see, so the conventional rules about space and time and observability, the notion that internal states can be known by external outputs, get thrown out the window. It's enough to blow open your circuits. While Newtonian physics is the physics of the tangible, quantum physics is the science of the intangible. I know this sounds confusing and maybe even irrelevant. I mean, you don't need to know how aspirin works to make your headache go away. And few of us have any clue as to how electricity works, but that doesn't stop us from being able to turn on a light switch in the dark. So, do we really need to have an understanding of quantum physics to create material wealth? No, it's not absolutely necessary, but it helps. It's helped me a lot. Particularly when everything appears to be going hard left in my life, when I want it to go right. Understanding the physical basis underlying the creation of wealth has helped me gain confidence in the laws that govern the universe, and it has worked wonders for my own self-confidence. By being able to put wishful thinking to bed, my mind and body have been more attuned to receiving wealth on all fronts. Here's the kicker. All great minds, from modern science to the spiritual traditions, agree that everything physical and tangible comes forth from the non-physical, intangible, spiritual domain. I've had no formal training in science, and even though I hated physics in school, couldn't stay awake for a simple half-hour lecture, once I started learning about quantum physics and how it relates to wealth, I just couldn't get enough of it. In fact, I've had my nose in quantum physics books for well over a decade. I can remember sitting on airplanes reading books like Wholeness and the Implicate Order, The Tao of Physics, and The Self-Aware Universe, and the guy sitting next to me would say, "What are you reading?" And I'd say, "I haven't got a clue." Many times I found myself reading and rereading the same page 10, 12 times. I just knew that there was something valuable in there for me. One day, it all came together in my mind, and I could see how the different theories related to one another. Believe it or not, most of the ideas in quantum physics were introduced in the 1950s, but they're just now reaching the greater population. As we discussed, I'm convinced that the quantum physicists, the chaos theorists, and the biologists of today are the mystics of the 21st century. The world of Newtonian physics involves direct cause and effect, linear thinking, and a mechanistic approach in the familiar three-dimensional world we see around us. The quantum realm is nonlinear, operating on subtle energies more often intuited than measured, in dimensions we can't detect with our five senses. To achieve true harmonic wealth, you've got to know how to operate in two realms simultaneously, to respect the linear Newtonian results you can see with your eyes, while acknowledging what's happening on a non-linear quantum level in the realm of spirit. Believe me, straddling these two worlds is one of the most challenging things you'll ever do, and it's tempting to lean to one extreme or the other. Most people swing their pendulum in the Newtonian direction, thinking they have little or no effect on the world around them. Living by sight versus vision, they become consumed with a mechanistic worldview of physical cause and effect, doing, and trying to make it happen so much so that they often block the natural, abundant flow coming right to them from the unseen world. Others swing too far into the quantum world, and become what I call ceiling surfers. I once had lunch with someone who announced he was going to transform the molecules of his pizza into a salad. Give me a break. That's taking a principle so far it becomes ridiculous. It will bring you nothing but disappointment. Newtonian physics is the physics of the small mind of men. Now, I'm not knocking the third dimension. I love it here. But we must access the true magnitude of our total power and ability, become masters of the quantum domain, while still thriving in the Newtonian world of action. When you master both of these worlds, you're unstoppable. We live in a vibrational universe. What appears to be empty space is the seat of unlimited energy. The money you want, the relationships you want. Everything from a Porsche to a pine tree comes from what quantum physicists call the zero-point field. This label, first proposed by Albert Einstein and Otto Stern in 1913, has many names in science. It's also called the subatomic field, the quantum hologram, or the plenum, which means fullness. A theologian calls it God, the source of everything. Some brave academics are even calling the zero-point field the mind of God. Whatever you call it, labels don't make much difference. The word water doesn't make you wet. So I encourage you to choose whatever label works best for you. Everything that appears solid is comprised of 99.9999999% light or energy. Every single thing in your world, from this audiobook to your car to the clothing you're wearing, is nothing more than stable light that's condensed in the zero-point field. So says quantum physics. Point 1. Everything you want, the cash, the lover, the body, the intellect, is all 99.9999999% light. Point 2. Light, or energy, vibrates. It has a resonance, or a frequency. Understanding this is the key to achieving anything and everything you want. If you think you're just running around as a personality trapped in a meat suit, think again. You're a field of energy operating in a larger field of energy, and your energy field is vibrating. Point 3, and this is a big one. You'll never attract high-energy vibrations, known as results, from a low-energy vessel. The zero-point field interconnects all time and space from the finite to the infinite, like a vast invisible web. Look around you right now. Go ahead, I'm serious. Look around you. What may appear to be empty space is in fact pregnant with unlimited potential and possibility. That's where you come from. Unlimited and infinite. That's who you are. All the energy you need exists in the zero-point field around you right now. It is you. Do you get that? According to some scientists, there's enough energy in 1 cubic meter of the zero-point field to boil every single ocean on the planet. Everything in your universe is comprised of this same energetic source, and yet you think you don't have any energy? Come on! You come from this field. You are energy. Let's assume you choose to call this field God. Now keep an open mind. If you come from this field and are made of the same energy, wouldn't it mean that you and God are the same thing? What do you think the Christian prophet meant when he said, "I and my Father are one"? John chapter 10, verse 30. The only difference is that one of you is in form and the other is not. Quantum physics tells us that every single thing comes from the zero-point field. Spiritual traditions tell us that every single thing comes from God. It's all the same stuff, including you. The only difference between your body and a BMW is the frequency of vibration. Of course, you aren't the totality of God or the zero-point field. Neither is your BMW. But it's the height of arrogance to say you and God are different. The great Essene tradition stated that the greatest sin is to question your divinity. Let me give you an example. I have a home on the big island of Hawaii. If I take a cup and dip it into the Pacific Ocean in front of my place, I obviously have a cup of Pacific Ocean. I could fly with that cup miles and miles away, and by the time I'd get to Kansas City or even Shanghai, the contents of my cup would still be Pacific Ocean. Imagine for a moment that this cup of water could think and talk. Work with me on this one. Wouldn't it be completely arrogant for this small cup of ocean to start to think, believe and argue that it wasn't Pacific Ocean? Wouldn't it be totally ignorant for it to actually believe that it was separate and different, just because it was in a different container, in a different location? Metaphor, anyone? Ocean is ocean. Separateness is illusion. Get over the ignorant, arrogant thinking that you and God are different. Understand that you and everything are the same, literally. The only defining difference between you and anything else is the rate of vibration. That's it. Get this. If you want to attract a new result in any area, you're already it. All you must do is come into harmony with it. Ponder that one deeply. You and I have barely scratched the surface of what we're capable of being, doing, and creating in our lives. This is ultimately to remind you of your unlimited creative powers and to allow you to experience greater levels of your godlike abilities to create outrageous results in every area of your life. Yes, including money.